You want to start?
Thank you.
We can get started.
Okay.
Do you want me to let me know? I can take the background off and I can make you the focus for this.
All right, we can take the background off. That's fine. Let's get going. Might as well get it going.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's Miss Santoro. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Great. Thank you. Thank you. My computer wasn't very loud earlier today, so I've been playing with the sound. I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight for this parent informational meeting. And first of all, I want to thank the PTA who is hosting this on their Zoom account. And I want to thank the PTA also for the beautiful bulletin board that they came into school and painted at the entrance that was the screen before you got admitted into here. So thank you very, very much for doing that. If you need information about the school, we post things on our website, and the PTA also posts all things on Instagram, Facebook, and the Remind app. So you can get information on things that are going on in the school through that. So I don't have any fancy videos to show you tonight. I know many of you have been on the parent informational meetings that were hosted by the school district. So I thought I would focus on specific things about Gribbin, and I broke it up into 4 categories. The first category I'm going to speak about is the physical plant. I'm going to speak about technology. I'm going to speak about scheduling. I'm going to speak about health and safety. And I want to draw your attention to this woman, Roxana, who you see on your screen right now. Roxana will translate questions for us. We're sorry that the presentation cannot be in Spanish, but she will be translating in Spanish. If you have a question, when we open it up for questions at the end, you can either ask or type it into the chat box. We have someone monitoring the chat box. So we're going to go forward, and thank you again for joining us. So I want to speak about the physical plant first. I want to tell you the changes that we've made in the physical plant. So last week, every single classroom had air ionizers installed in the univent systems to help purify the air. So previous to last week, all univents were cleaned. The insulation that was inside was taken out and changed. They were open to bring in fresh air into the rooms, and ionizers were installed to purify the air. And actually last week, we had an air quality test by a private company, and we scored very high. So we're really good with air in the classrooms. We're encouraging teachers to regularly open the windows while the kids are in there. And hopefully we'll have a very nice and mild fall so that the windows can stay open and we can get kids outside a lot. One of the things that's great about Gribbin is that in every single classroom, we have our own bathroom, our own sink, and we used to have our own drinking fountains. We had the drinking fountains all capped and all taken out, and now there are fill stations. We have 3 in the school where purified water comes out. You can send your children to school with an empty water bottle, and they can fill their bottles, so they're getting filtered water through that. And every single water fountain was capped, even on the fill station, so kids can't be drinking water from the same place. We also are almost finished. We started to install touchless paper towel dispensers. So after someone washes their hands, they're touchless now. So in every classroom, every place where there's a sink, and any place where there's water, we have a touchless paper towel dispenser. Also, in every room where there's a sink, we installed touchless faucets. So I think we may have been the #1 place in the district because we have so many bathrooms. So the custodians have a lot of cleaning to do at night, and they keep the bathrooms very clean, but also it's a safety feature. We don't have any gang bathrooms, so we're lucky. And your kids all have bathrooms in their classrooms. I'm going to talk next about technology. And by the way, the rooms all have sanitary wipes in them in case someone needs something. The custodians are on call to clean the desk barriers that are in the rooms. They also wipe down the desks every night and the chairs every night. So the rooms are pretty clean. With moving into this technology and children being remote during the day and having synchronous learning, we have a technology hotline. So if you're a parent that chose remote learning for your students, and if you still don't have your iPad because you missed the day last week, you can pick an iPad up tomorrow between 8:30 and 2. So we'll have the remote learning packets available, plus the iPads available for anyone that needs to get one. After this meeting, you'll be getting another phone call from me this week. Sorry, it's 3 in 1 week, but telling parents who are not on this call that they can get the iPads and also pick up the remote learning packets. You got a phone call earlier about getting onto the computer and the QR codes and things like that. So there were two systems, a Clever system and a Seesaw system. And in the mailing that we did last week, we sent you a code that was on a little blue square and directions on how to get onto Seesaw, and trash those and throw them away. We did a mailing today because those two companies didn't merge into each other and the kids wouldn't be able to log on. So we did a new thing today where they got a QR code they can scan with their iPads, and all first grade and second graders know how to do it. So there's a sheet in there on top that has a passcode for your child. So you type in the passcode, and then they take the iPad and they just put it down and they scan the QR code. And after they scan the QR code, they can get into Seesaw. That's a platform we're using for students. So all the parents in first and second grade know how to do it already. And some kindergarten parents who have some older children, but the directions are very clear. If you go through the directions and you still can't get on, there are two ways where you can get information. You can go to the district website, and there's a big, huge box that shows up, and it says tech tools. And on there are videos you can watch as parents, and they're in Spanish and English that give you directions on how to get on to different apps and things. There's also a district phone number you can call. It's 801-7005, and you can call them for help too. So there's a helpline. There's videos you can watch that are in Spanish and English, and there's also the directions in the mailing. You should get the mailing tomorrow or Saturday because it was in a single envelope. It wasn't a big package like we sent before. I want to just talk a little bit about schedules. Am I going too fast? I talk fast. Sorry, I'm from upstate. I talk fast. I want to talk about schedules for kids. So the first week, next week, is our first venture into this adventure that we're all on. So I just want to ask you to please be patient with us and understanding, because doing the synchronous learning for the staff and kids at home is going to be tricky. So at on the first week, in a letter you get today, that we mailed out today, we're not asking kids at home to log on until 9:30. We have to unload the buses for the first time, have the kids grab breakfast, sit down, and get settled in the room and get everybody into their classroom. So for the first week, you don't have to log on until 9:30. Hopefully it will be 9:15 after that. But every single morning, all of the kids who are home on remote need to log on by that time and have their attendance taken. So it's a New York State law. The attendance has to be taken every day. And there's a new law called chronic absenteeism. So you really need to be in school or home, logged on by that time every day so the teacher can take attendance or your child doesn't get counted as being in school. If your child gets a related service through special education or a support service, those will be provided in school. I just met with the OT and the PT today, and there's some push-in and some where children have individual sessions for things, and related services for reading and ENL will take place. And if you're home remotely, they will take place virtually. If you're in school, it will be a smaller group than a usual small group that we have. So I think the biggest group sizes we can fit for safety reasons are 3. Your children will have a special every day, either art, music, physical education, or stream, and that will get them at least moving a little bit. And Mrs. C for music will go into the classrooms and hopefully she can do some movement with the kids and some singing behind their barriers. And PE is going to go outside as much as possible. And the classroom teachers are going to take their students outside as much as possible. So when they're outside for PE, Mr. Chicola has a lot of interesting things planned. And kids will have a space that's about as big as a hula hoop outside. And they can, it's a safe distance from another person. So if he throws down hula hoops in the gym or hula hoops outside, they'll be a certain amount of feet apart. We're also having circles put on the playground tomorrow. About 2 weeks ago, I met with the guys from Building and Grounds and asked them to line the field. So there'll be a bunch of big circles and lines outside so kids can socially distance outside. With the classroom teachers, they'll be outside discovering nature, observing things in nature, writing in journals, going outside with magnifying glasses. So the focus this year will be based more on projects and things so the kids at home can participate with the kids at school. I know everybody who has never done the car line before is wondering about the car line. So the car line is where you drop off in the morning. Excuse me, sorry. The car line is where you drop off in the morning, and in the afternoon you pick up outside the gym doors. So in the morning, it seems as though many parents chose no transportation. So if you're going to drop your children off, you need to follow the line. So the line goes behind the cars that are parked, and you come to a certain point, and we open the doors and get your kids out. And in the car line now, we have little squares painted, and each kid will stand in a square so they're not around someone else, and then we cross them over to their classrooms. So please do not pass a car that is in the car line because that makes it dangerous for people. And do not get out of your car, and don't open up a car door on the passenger end of the car or the driver's side, because when you open your door and buses are going by, it can cause a dangerous situation. So those are the car line rules. And then when you pick up, you go around the parking area in the front of the school opposite the big playground, and there's social distance lines painted on the asphalt, and the kindergarten children will be picked up at the first door and the first and second graders at the second door. So there's social distance lines. They're painted outside. They're white. And there's a big red line painted by both doors, and you shouldn't pass that big red line. Okay? When you come to pick up your children, because everyone's wearing a face mask, adults and kids, maybe one of the things you could do as a project this weekend is have your kids, you write their name on a big piece of paper, like write Francine Santoro in big letters, and your kids decorate it. Because when you come to the walker line, you're going to need to hold up a sign with your child's name until we get used to who's picking what child up and what you look like or what your mask looks like in case you wear a different one every day. And by the way, I saw some really cute masks of kindergartners who came to the meet and greet the past few days with the little cars and the smiley faces and the dinosaurs. They're really cute. So it's just hard to recognize people. So we're asking you to make a sign with your child's first name and last name and hold it up for the walker line so that we get the right kid to the right parent. The last thing about scheduling is please make sure your kids have an early bedtime. They need a lot of sleep. When your kids come home, they're going to be tired. Don't let them lay down and take a nap because then they won't go to bed and then they'll be up all night and then we'll have a problem the next day. So we just want to make sure that everyone gets a good night's sleep. It's a good idea if you give your kids a bath at night, have a bath and have a book and go to sleep. They should not be on a device at all for over an hour before bedtime. So whether they're playing on your phone, whether they're using an iPad or a tablet, a Chromebook, they should not be on that device for at least an hour before they go to bed. The next story I wanted to speak about was health and safety. So when kids come in, the kindergartners who came to the meet and greet already did this today. We have scanners that scan your wrist. You hold your wrist up to a circle and there's a thermometer that says normal temperature or low or high. And we just want to make sure that every adult that comes in the building does that. Of the teachers, when they walk in, they have to do it. And then for the kids, they have to do it to make sure that everyone coming in the building is safe. So every single day, your child's temperature will be taken. I know people have been asking about contact tracing for positive COVID cases. So contact tracing is done only by the Department of Health, and we'll take our direction from the Department of Health. So if someone comes in and is sick and they get sent home, and you get a call from the nurse, it's only a health, we're not doctors, so it's just a health assessment. And if someone recommends that you go to your doctor, you need to do that, and the doctor will make a recommendation as to whether or not you come back to school. But if a child gets sent home, they need to go to the doctor, and we need to have a release. If a child is symptomatic, it's really, really, really important to go to the doctor. So the kids this year have to eat lunch in their classrooms, so their desks have barriers on them. And after they eat lunch, the desks will be cleaned and the barriers will be wiped down and the garbage will be taken out. So there should be no worries with that. At the beginning of this, the only thing the kids will be offered for lunch is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a cheese sandwich, or a turkey sandwich. And then there'll be a piece of fruit, a milk, and something else like celery sticks or carrot sticks or something like that. So it's going to be bag lunches. The teachers will take an order from your children in the morning. They will be prepared in the cafeteria, put in individual bags, and delivered to the rooms. Right now, we're starting out with bags. Hopefully, we will be able to go with boxes. If you ever go to Whole Foods and you see those boxes that are to-go things, something like that, where the kids could just use the box, eat, put their garbage in there, and throw it away. So that's what we want to move toward. I know that the letter I sent home was very lengthy, and I tried to be very comprehensive to get some questions answered. And I know I made it clear in a letter in more than one case, that in more than one place, that all masks have to be worn by every single student on the bus and in the classroom, and teachers have to wear masks, and teachers have to wear a face shield when they're close to a student, So all teachers have been given masks, they've been given face shields, and some people have their own that they bring. But masks, they have those little vents on the side, are not acceptable in school for an adult or for a child. So it has to be a mask as a barrier over your face. Next week, we'll be doing lessons with kids about how the proper way to put on a mask, and that it needs to cover your nose and your mouth, and we'll be practicing that. We have a little video to show the kids next week and some slides, some Google slides to go over. Every single desk has a barrier that's installed on it. So it's a clear barrier. It's about this high, and it blocks the desk in 3 places. So students will not be having belongings in the desk because the same desk will be used by another student 2 days later. So each student has a color basket in the classroom with their belongings in it. So when we told you to send in supplies in a Ziploc baggie with their name on it, every student gets a basket, and their supplies go in that basket, and they put them underneath their chair, and they can get their things from the basket. So Monday, Tuesday, kids have one color basket, and Thursday, Friday, and they're separated in the rooms. Students will not be using the coat room areas in the rooms. Their coats and their backpacks will go on the back of their chairs so that there's no cross-contamination and the kids aren't going in and out of places and touching things like someone else's backpack, someone else's coat. So that's a way that we decided to not spread. I know I said earlier to put your name on a sign, and we're also asking you that anything that comes to school, have your child's name on it. Like put a tag on the backpack the first day and say what your name is, like Albert and your last name, or John or Todd or whatever. It's important to put your first name and your last name, okay? And every single thing that comes from home should have a name on it. On the very first day of school, you're going to get an emergency form to fill out, and it's extremely important to send that form back the next day. So on that form are 3 emergency contact numbers, and anyone whose number you put down needs to know you're putting them down, because sometimes we call a family and someone says, I don't know I was a contact, or I don't know who that person is. So make sure anyone you put down, you can't put down your contact, your partner's contact, and then put it down again 3 times. It has to be 2 people besides who's ever in the house, so we can get in touch with people. And that's in case of emergencies. If someone falls and gets hurt, they crack their head open and they have to go to the hospital, or if there's another emergency like the school has to close because something happened. We've had gas leaks before in the middle of the day. We've had water leaks. So if we have to evacuate the building and go somewhere, we have to have a number that you're reachable at. I talked about that. One of the things I said in the letter is please make sure that you send a change of clothes to school with your child. And it should be something that has an elastic waistband in case they grow from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So like extra pair of sweatpants, underwear, socks, because sometimes kids in K-2 have accidents. No matter how old they are, they get involved in playing and they don't want to take a break to go to the bathroom, and before you know it, we have an accident. Whatever they have for clothing, they should be able to manage themselves. So pull on things, Velcro things, they work really well. I think it's really, really, really important to try to get some normalcy back into everyone's life. So we want to make sure that your kids and you are reading every night, looking at books, going to the park, doing things. The one thing that we cannot do, and it makes me really sad, is no one can go to the playground after school. So we can use the playground when the kids are supervised outside a certain number at a time. But when you come to pick up your kids and everyone wants to go to the playground. I'm sorry, we can't do that. We can't have birthday parties. We can't have people visiting in the school, standing outside with your kids. I'm sorry, they're not my rules, and it makes me really sad we have to do this, but every single decision that we've made about opening the school and about how the rooms are set up and what's going to happen was based on safety. We want to try to keep the kids in school for as long as we can, and we just are being very careful with cross contamination and everything like that. So I just, as I said at the beginning, thank you for your patience and your understanding, especially next week, because none of us has been through this before. And so we're all kind of feeling the waters. And I know I know the teachers, I know everyone is working really hard. We want to make it the best experience we can for your children in this circumstance. The classrooms are decorated very nicely. They're very pleasant for your kids. Things are just up higher on a bulletin board where a student can't touch them. So it might be half of the bulletin board that's decorated, and that's on purpose so that kids can't touch things. Some things are painted because we don't want kids touching papers. So I know some of this, I know I spoke quickly. I wanted the majority of the meeting tonight to be a chance to answer your questions and not me talking. So we can start answering questions from the chat, and maybe we can, if there's a lot of questions, put some things together that go together. So if someone could read me questions.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Some of these might have been answered, so I will go back through them. Let's see. First was what time do they need to log in on the virtual days? I believe you had said that was 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, on the virtual days for the first 2 weeks, we're just pushing it to 9:30, just so we can get everybody in, get breakfast. So by 9:30.
Okay.
It'll go back to like 9:15, hopefully 9:10, but 9:30 for the first 2 weeks.
Okay. And then to spin off of that, what app is the attendance being taken in? Is that Clever, Google Meet, or Seesaw? You know?
Attendance has to be taken on our Power School.
Okay.
So when they log on, the teacher can see that they're logged on. It gets done on Power School.
Okay. Is that going to be on a Google Meet, or when is that just on?
When they log on, they can see it on the Seesaw app, I believe. And then they have to put it on Power School.
Okay. For the parents that are walking their kids to school, how do they drop off?
Anyone who's walking their kids, so people who are walking from Broadfield Place can come up the sidewalk to right before where it curves by the kindergarten playground, and they have to leave their kids there. And for people who come from Walnut Road, you can come down by the parking lot side and make the turn down the sidewalk, but you can't cross them over to where the other kids are. We're going to use the outside area where the nurse and the cafeteria worker and the custodian and I used to park. We're lining kids up in that whole area.
Okay. Do you know how many kids per classroom approximately, or does that vary?
It varies from room to room. So no more than 12 kids can be in a classroom at any time. Everyone is equipped with 12 desks, but some people chose virtual and some people chose Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So right now it's a little unbalanced. So one day there might be 6 kids in a cohort on Monday, Tuesday, and on Thursday, Friday there might be 10, but there's no more than 12 at any one time. And there's no class size right now that's bigger than 21 in total.
Okay. Will the kids get breakfast this year? And if so, is that going to be in the classroom also?
Yes. I hope they love their classroom. No, they're going to love their teachers and they're going to love their classrooms. But what we're going to try is we'll have carts set up so when the kids walk in and they take their temperature, there'll be a box that has bags in it, and it's a grab and go. You just pick it up and you go to the classroom. So it might be a granola bar and a piece of fruit, or a milk and some cereal, or whatever. I think there has to be a piece of fruit and cereal and a milk.
Okay. And
By the way, in the morning, we do not offer chocolate milk. They can only have white milk. And at lunch, they can have a choice of strawberry, chocolate, or white.
okay. If there was some talk that the children will be allowed to remain mask-free if they are behind the plexiglass dividers at their desks, is this accurate?
Well, they're going to take mask breaks, so we have to really judge that next week, and we've had several conversations about that, and they will take mask breaks, and if they're behind their barrier, but the barriers come down the sides of the desk and they curve in at the bottom. So if you're sitting right at your desk, your head is inside the barrier, but if you sit back and a kid next to you is sitting back, then you're exposing that student. So the teachers have to judge that.
Okay. Will specials be rotating so that the kids get to participate in person once in a while?
Well, they'll be having PE in person all the time. And music, she's going to have to go into the rooms. And art will be going into the rooms. We may have figured out a way today to provide art with dividers and barriers on doing every other seat on the tables we use, but we don't want to go there at the beginning. So the specials will be all in person, and they'll be in the room or in the gym.
Okay. Do the kids need to bring their iPads back and forth? If so, starting from day one, or are the iPads just for home?
That's a great question, and we've been back and forth with that a number of times. So here's the short answer to that. Once we get all the iPads we have distributed to people who need one, what we're going to do is try to put iPads in the classroom, because there isn't a day that goes by in a K-2 building where someone doesn't say, Mr. Albert, my water spilled or my juice box spilled. So I don't want to have somebody's drink inside of a backpack with their iPad, because then we'll all be in trouble. So if the iPad goes into like a Ziploc baggie, they make like Ziploc baggies that are big enough for iPads. They should be able to fit into a gallon size one. If they want to bring it back and forth and they have a drink, or the drink is inside a Ziploc bag, I just think one of the two things has to be in a Ziploc baggie, either the liquid or the iPad. So if you feel like they can bring it back and forth safely every day, that's great.
Okay. I guess, what were they supposed to put the kids' names on? That was pretty much anything that they were bringing in from home, correct?
Anything, if you want to tattoo it on their body, no. Anything that's coming from home needs to have their name on it, because this year we can't take any guesses about whose property belongs to who.
Okay. After the first week or two, will we be given a set schedule of when to sign in for the synchronous learnings? One of the parents is just asking so she can set her work schedule around the meeting. Okay.
Yes, so right now the schedule is half the teachers are synchronous in the morning and half in the afternoon. So a person who's synchronous in the morning has their special in the afternoon, or vice versa. So I didn't give the schedule out until today to the teachers. So we just really want to make sure that it's going to work and run through and try to work out the king spot. Yes, you will.
Okay.
And by the way, when we say 1 week now, it's like 1 week, 2 days, and then in that same week, 2 days. So I think we kind of have to see the kids twice. So I'm saying the first 2 weeks, but it might be before that.
Okay. And this, just to reiterate, I guess you had talked about the coat spaces, so they won't have a cubby or anything else. Everything will be at their desk then, correct?
Yep.
Will there be any homework on remote days?
Well, on remote days, the teachers are going to assign Seesaw. So all of you who experienced Seesaw before, so they will put a Seesaw assignment on there, and they can see the Seesaw assignment and do that. And then just at the very beginning, They're going to be at the meet and greet, not the meet and greet, excuse me, the morning meeting with the teachers. And then the teachers will check in with them again during the day. But the first 2 weeks will just be a little bit in the morning and a little bit in the afternoon until we can get this synchronous thing all ironed out.
Okay.
And don't worry about homework, because you are not going to see like a math sheet next week or something like that. You're going to see like some fun things for kids to do, like something we talked about for art with the art teacher was the kids at home they could talk about feelings and how they're feeling and draw a picture of it, and the kids at school can stick it on a popsicle stick. At home they can stick it on a pen or something and show what they made. So it's more project things so the kids can stay involved.
Okay. I don't know if I understand this. There was a question, should we be checking our child on the COVID app or do we start that on Monday? I don't know.
We just received a letter from the superintendent that we're mailing tomorrow. So you'll get a lot of mail from us. So what we're mailing, you're going to get another robocall tonight from me. And then there's a new thing on the website. And then you're going to get a letter tomorrow about the COVID app. And with that letter, there are directions on how to log on and do that. But everyone needs to start it. The teachers had to start it last week. And then after they started, so starting next week, I'll get an alert on my email if somebody answered yes to something they should have answered yes to. So yesterday, someone pressed yes on something by mistake, and then they couldn't come into school and their badge wouldn't work. So the person was wondering what happened, and they were told that they put yes in a place where they shouldn't have, but they thought they put no. So it's not that hard to do, and I know it takes some time, but you should be on that app.
Okay. There was a question, we opted out of the bus, but we still got the bus pass in our welcome packet. Does this mean that we can go on the bus at any time, or do they have to let you know?
Yeah, so the district has a policy, kindergarten through 5th grade. Every single person gets a bus, even if you live across the street. So everyone was mailed the bus pass just in case you ever have to use it in case of an emergency or you change your mind after a few weeks. The buses are not at full capacity and the kids are spaced out, and the buses have smaller runs, and they made an effort to make the time on the bus a little bit less so kids weren't riding buses around for a long time. So you just have to judge that, but everyone gets a bus pass, and the bus has to go by your stop every morning in case you're out there, and if your child's on in the afternoon, then it has to go there. And by the way, those times that are on the passes are approximate. So as I said in my letter, you have to be out there a little bit before and a little after, because the first couple of weeks until the drivers get used to the routes and the kids on the bus, it's going to take a little longer. And don't worry, I've been here for 23 years. We haven't lost a kid yet.
With regards to the remote, is there remote learning packages that are being sent home?
Yes. Well, so as I said earlier, if you still need an iPad, we're giving them out tomorrow between 8:30 and 2, and the remote learning packages can be picked up tomorrow too.
Okay.
So everything's in the foyer. You just drive up. It's like a valet service without the tips. You drive up, you say your name, and the security guard will come in and get you your iPad or your basket of stuff or your baggie of stuff, and then you just drive away. You don't have to get out of your car.
Okay. Someone else had asked, am I correct to assume that since we have baskets for each cohort, students will not be bringing the Ziploc bag of supplies back and forth? The supply list, do they stay there in the classroom?
Yes, the supplies stay in the classroom. So on most of the supply lists that went home, I said, buy this for home and buy this for school. So I know the first grade said it, and the second grade. And I think the kindergarten said something in the bottom about that. I don't remember right now. I'm sorry. But there should be supplies at home and supplies at school.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay. Someone had asked.
I want to say one more thing about supplies. So yesterday, you should have gotten a robocall either Tuesday or yesterday about there were 1,000 backpacks full of supplies donated by Delia DeRiggi Witten to students in Glen Cove. And so the Glen Cove Police Department gave them out today at the high school. And my guess is I'm not sure that they gave them all out because of the pouring rain. So you might be able to find out from calling the switchboard if they still have supplies. And if they don't, we have supplies at the Glen Cove Youth Bureau. So if you need supplies, you can call 671-4600, and we have supplies there to give out to students.
Okay. Thank you. Do they need to log in this coming Wednesday? The packet on the B days says we'll log in for the first time on Monday, and the A day says the login for the first time is on Thursday. Is there class this Wednesday?
I didn't understand the question. What?
I guess the packets said that on the B days, the student, so the B track, the students that are on the hybrid on Thursday and Fridays, the first time they're logging in is Monday, but on the students that come Monday, Tuesday, it says the first time they would log in on is Thursday. So, but there is
everybody has to log in on Wednesday.
Okay, so there is
everybody remote and anybody hybrid, everybody Wednesday.
Okay.
So Monday, Tuesday they log on Thursday because they'll be remote, but everybody on Wednesday. I'm sorry, that was not clear.
Okay. Do the IEP children need to bring the iPads to school every day?
I would not send them right away. I would rather wait until we see how many iPads we have in each classroom. We bought 1,000 new iPads for students from K to 5. And I think we should just wait and see what's left. Hopefully we'll have some for each classroom.
Okay. And then I guess this kind of goes hand in hand. Will there be a live teacher on Wednesdays? And will it be the same teacher virtually as the hybrid as when they're in school also?
So every single Wednesday morning will be like cohort A and cohort B. So okay. In the morning on Wednesday, everybody has to log in. There will be a live morning meeting with the teacher, and the assignments will be through Seesaw. So every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's a live meeting with the teacher first thing in the morning. And what the teacher will do is do the morning meeting, do attendance, and then talk about what they're doing for the day.
Okay. And the same teacher teaching them in school is the same as virtual?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we need to send emergency cards and physicals from doctors for the remote kids, for the kids learning all virtual?
Yes. Okay. And just so you know, even though you chose remote, your child still has to be immunized. That was that question. So they still have to follow New York State law, and no one can come to school unless they're immunized. So yes, I found that answer out today.
Okay. Would children be assessed early on to determine the proficiency level for their grades?
Yes. We know there was a lot of learning loss between March and now. So I met with the reading teachers yesterday and the ENL teachers and the classroom teachers about beginning benchmark assessments. But for the first week, I don't think it's fair to assess anyone. And the kindergarten students coming in were not assessed with the Dial 4 or the NICETEL, which would tell us whether or not there would be an ENL. So that has to be done first before the reading assessment.
Okay. Are children allowed to bring face shields with the mask when they are inside the bus?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. And
they don't have to, but they can.
Okay. And with regards to breakfast, I know there was a question about that earlier, but what time did the children need to be there for breakfast? Is it the same time as the normal drop-off?
Yep, 8:40. Yep.
I know we had a question on our PTA page. Maybe you can talk about this. I don't see it on here yet, about if the parent was requesting to switch a day, or the days that they were supposed to go in didn't work out. You had said right now at this point, I think have to wait to see if space opened
So
up.
the forms were due August 21st, and we made changes up until yesterday. And now we just have to see what happens next week on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday, because some of the balancing we did of the classes, when people asked to switch to a different day and we honored that, they're really off balance. So we're not making any changes unless someone wants to be totally remote. They can be totally remote. We're not switching any Monday, Tuesdays, or Thursday, Fridays because our count is getting thrown off.
Okay. On the days that the children are remote learning and they'll see the teacher live, is that at the same time as the teachers are teaching students? Okay. Someone had asked if the first day of school is a half day or is that a full day?
It's always a half day. It's a full day. They've been off too long. That was the answer. So it's a full day. I want to just say one thing about the remote teaching. What your children will see, it's against the law. We can't show them the kids in the class. When they're at home, there can't be the other kids in the class. And what it's going to be is a projection from the teacher's iPad or Chromebook to the smart board about what they're doing. So they hear the voices and they'll hear the discussion, but they won't be able to see any faces.
More like a screen share of the.
Correct. Yep.
A parent was told that the district was giving out lunches on the remote days. Do you know if this is accurate?
I think they're planning on it. There has not been any. I haven't heard anything about that, but yes, there will be.
Okay.
If you need that, then just email me or give me a call. We'll get a specific answer for you.
One of the parents had said the packet they received said their son is going to school, but they did opt for remote, and they called. Does this affect anything that was sent home? No, absolutely not. It was changed in the computer. So there were a couple glitches with putting things in the computer. And I believe we got through all of those, but call again tomorrow. But we changed all of those in the computer because people were kind enough to call us ahead of time. But it doesn't change anything in the packet at all. When do the referrals need to be in for OT and PT?
You mean the prescriptions from the doctor?
Maybe therapies, I guess, or
yes,
yeah.
Therapies.
The prescriptions from the doctor should already be in. I met with the PT and OT today, and they were going through the prescriptions and who needs what. So if you don't have it, if you can get it in as soon as possible, they can't start services for your children until we have the prescription.
Okay. Someone had asked, what are the hours of school? I think you had talked about that, but maybe you can go over that again.
So the school hours they were in the letter, but the school hours are officially 8:55 in the morning to 3:40 in the afternoon.
Okay.
The kids can't come any earlier than 8:40 because there's not supervision here.
One of the parents had asked if they can drop off supplies tomorrow to the school.
If they want to, they can, sure.
Okay. Does everyone get a remote learning packet or just the kids who are doing remote learning only? I guess, are they different, like the packets for the remote learning?
Well, the remote learning is the stuff that they need at home to get instruction from school. So there isn't packets for anyone else. The one thing we did do is we have a program called Foundations, and we made a board that can be cut apart so that kids can follow that at home, but everybody would have that.
Okay. And what time, when was the remote learning pickup? You had said there was
tomorrow between 8:30 and 2.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
For children with an IEP, how would you group speech sessions to be given to kids? Is it within their classroom or is it separate?
Well, it depends what their IEP says. If the IEP says small group, it will be small group. If it says push in, it will be push in. The IEP dictates that.
Someone had asked when we're remote, on the days that we're remote, are we supposed to do the COVID app that day as well? Or is it just the days that the children are in school?
I would say I would just do it right now every day, just so we have some kind of a history or something. But I would say every day to get used to it, and then
Okay.
we'll make a decision. Everything that we're doing, by the way, is just for the next few weeks until we. Some things will stay for as long as we're in school, and some things we're going to have to play with after we see how it goes.
Okay. And I guess when remote learning is the same as virtual learning, we use that interchangeable. It's not just for the kids that have to stay home.
Right.
Someone said does cohort B need to pick up their packets for Monday, or is there stuff that's being
If
there's
anybody's remote, they have to come tomorrow, because if they're cohort B,
yeah.
cohort B doesn't pick up anything. Only kids that are totally remote. Only the kids that are not coming to school at all have a packet.
Okay. And then the other ones would be getting the logins for the Seesaw and the other stuff, like you said.
That was in the mail.
Okay.
So the login, the password for Seesaw, and the QR code got mailed to everybody in the building. The only kids that have to get a packet tomorrow are as if you're staying home. You're not coming to school at all.
Okay. And if they don't get it, like my mail person doesn't deliver my stuff, maybe we could call.
You can send an email to the teacher, and the teacher can send it to you remotely.
Okay. The remote kids, are they getting foundations workbooks, math workbooks? Is that part of the packet? Okay. I think if there was anyone, Roxana, I think I'll unmute you. And do you just want to ask if there was anyone who wanted to ask a question in Spanish? They could unmute themselves, because I know you're having a problem seeing the chat, so maybe we can do it that way.
Buenas noches. ¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta para hacer en español que no haya entendido? Si por favor puede. No tengo acceso al chat, así que si pueden por favor sacar el mute de ustedes mismos, así los puedo escuchar. ¿Hay alguien que tiene alguna pregunta en español? I don't think so, Amy.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay. If anyone else has any other questions, if they want to type it in the chat or anything else, you can also, we could email you, right, Ms. Santoro?
Yes. For some reason, I just lost everyone's face.
Oh.
And yeah, she can send me an email.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, Leah.
Hi, it's Leah. Hi.
Hi, Leah.
You answered so many of my questions. This is so great and so informative. So thank you. So when the kid, my son is in school Thursday, Friday. So when he needs to log in Monday morning, there's going to be a Google Meet link on Seesaw. Is that how it works?
What you have to do is you should get the mailing tomorrow or Saturday, and you go on to the iPad, and the password is in there in the login, and then you scan the code, and he should be able to get on to Seesaw.
Okay. And does he need a school iPad, or can we use our own? What do you prefer? He have a school iPad?
You can use your own. Plenty of people.
Okay.
And by the way,
I wasn't sure if there were.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wasn't sure if there were any like applications that are loaded onto the school iPads that we need that maybe we don't have, at home.
I think that if you did the Seesaw stuff before, then you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the Clever app and the Seesaw, so I just was making sure.
Okay. I wanted to say something about the school iPads. Some people picked them up and called and said they couldn't get anything and there's nothing on there. They loaded the apps on the other day about noontime, and the iPad has to be turned on and on Wi-Fi before any of the apps come through. So before Monday morning, you need to try it and just hook it up to the Wi-Fi and turn it on, and the app should all come through.
Yes, I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One of the questions was, if you picked virtual and now want to switch to hybrid, how do we go about doing that?
Okay, so some people picked virtual and want to switch, and some people vice versa. So if you went from cohort A or B to virtual, we can do that right away. If you want to switch from virtual back into school, we ask you just give us a notice of like a week, 10 days, so we can make sure the bus is set up, we have a desk for your child, materials for your child, and the teacher knows that they're coming, and everything can be worked in a schedule. So just send me an email. I would say 2 weeks before, so we're all set. And they might be able to come to school before that 2 weeks, but
The more notice, the better.
just so we have a little notice. Yeah.
Thank you. I guess some of the parents would like to know that if math, writing, and other subjects will have live lessons, and if they are going to be able to see their teacher during those lessons when they're virtual.
So
for
what's the
math,
meaning of that? What?
for math, writing, and other subjects, will the lessons be live, or is it on the virtual days, or is it more assignments, I guess?
It's going to be during the synchronous. It's going to be during the synchronous time. It's not going to be all day. So there'll be multiple check-ins with kids, and it will be live. But the first couple weeks, no.
Okay. Okay. And one of the questions had said, are the remote children getting math books or anything else, workbooks to pick up? I think you had said yes, there were things that were coming for the all virtual.
Tomorrow.
Okay. And the remote
You can come tomorrow between 8:30.
Okay. 8:30 to 2, right?
Virtual and remote are the same thing.
Okay.
Yes.
And our remote days, full days online, I think you had just answered that, where it's not totally online. There's a little bit of like live, and then
we don't want kids who are this age sitting in front of a screen all day long. And what's recommended for kids this age is about 2 hours a day. So if you are remote, your kids shouldn't be on any longer than that.
Okay.
That's why there's project-based things and writing things, outside observing and things like that, because the recommendation from the experts is it should only be 2 hours a day.
Okay. Someone had said, could you, well, one person, it's a virtual, wasn't circled in the packet, although that's what they selected. Do I need to call the school? I would, yes, I probably will call. What's the school phone number for them to call?
I would just call. The school phone number to call is 801-7210. And you can just leave a message. If it doesn't get answered, that just means we're on the phone. It just goes, the message just goes right to the computer. But just double check, because I know there were a few clerical errors, and I apologize for that, but it was a big packet because I like to talk, as you can see. And there was a lot of reading, and a couple of things just got mixed in with others.
Someone had said, is there any chance children will be attending school on Wednesdays? Not right now, right?
Well, we're always planning to move in the direction of kids coming to school more days. But right now we have to see for a little while, for a few weeks, where we're at.
Okay.
So I would say I wouldn't plan on it for a while. Maybe before the snow falls, yes, but I wouldn't say in the immediate future.
Fingers crossed. Another couple questions came in about just, could you go over the pickup and drop off again? I guess some of the parents had come in a little later and they missed that part.
Sure. So if you're dropping your child off in the morning, you'll see a line of cars parked in the parking lot. You don't go there. The parking lot is just for staff members. You just sit in your car in the line and don't pass another car. People know I'm really strict about this. And you pull up, and an adult will come to your car and get your child out. And then there's boxes painted on the sidewalk. They stand inside their marked space so they're not too close to each other. And we cross them to where they line up to come inside. Don't get out of your car, and don't have your child get out on a side that is right behind the driver's side. That's really dangerous. They could get hit by a bus. And then you just pull out through the gate onto Broadfield Place. And pick up, you can park on Broadfield Place, and you can park on Walnut Road, and you come around the side of the building, the front of the building by the big playground. You go around the gated area, and there's a pickup place for kindergarten, which is the first door, and for first and second grade, which is the second door. And there's lines painted on the sidewalk to socially distance. So please make sure you have your child's name, first name and last name, on a sign that you just hold up before you come to pick up, because with masks on, it's hard to recognize people. It's called a mistake, I heard the other day. So if
Like
you mistake a person, it's called a mistake.
Okay.
Uh,
Someone had asked if you would consider a pickup car line, or if not, why?
We used to do a pickup car line about 20 years ago, and people were being very unsafe, and kids were getting in cars, and there were babies rolling on seats, not in car seats, and kids were running around the other side of the car on other cars, and people were passing. So unfortunately, there's too many people that don't follow the rules, and we couldn't start the car line until after the buses left, and at that time the teachers are contractually finished, so there really isn't a way to do a car line with the amount of people that we have that say they want to use a car line this year. So sometimes it's 30 kids, and right now it's over 100 who want to drive their kids to school.
Okay. Someone had said they got the iPads from the school but did not get the workbooks. How do I get them? I guess if it's all, I'm not sure if this parent was all virtual, but I guess if it's all virtual, they can pick up the stuff tomorrow, right, between 8:30 to 2.
We only, right. So
Okay.
what happened is we only heard up until today who wanted to be virtual, so the teachers put the packets today. They only worked this week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and had a lot of meetings, so the packets were put together today.
Okay. And then,
So no one got a workbook last week.
okay. And I think that's it, unless anybody.
I actually have a question. Hi, Ms. Santoro, it's Brenda Lopez. How are you?
Hey, Brenda.
How you doing? From the daycare, you know me.
Yep.
I was actually, a lot of us are fortunate to be able to work from home. Some of us, our employers are working with us. But at the time that we have to connect at some point during the day, if for some reason we have another meeting and with work, what do we do if they don't connect at that moment?
Well,
I know some children.
You'll have a period of time to connect. It's not going to be like, oh, if you're not logged on at 9:31, you're going to get marked absent. But there's a period of time, but they will get marked tardy if they log on later. But by New York State law, we have to keep attendance every day.
Okay, and what about throughout the day? They have to reconnect at some point, correct?
Well, yes, it's going to be, to begin with, it's only going to be in the morning, and then later in the day, later on, there's more connection.
Okay.
And we'll let you know what that schedule is.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I think the first couple weeks is more working out the kinks, right, with everything, kind of.
Right. You know what? It's the first time we're all doing this, and we're all in the same boat, and we're all working together, and we're going to do the best we can. And I just really want to thank you for your cooperation and your patience again, because, you know, you're giving us your most valuable property, and we're going to take good care of your kids. It's just harder to do now than ever.
One of the parents had said there's been a lot of talk about what's going on in the classrooms, but could you talk more about how the all virtual option is going to work? Is it?
Well, they're going to engage with the teachers in the class virtually multiple times a day, but just, as I said, for the first couple of weeks, there'll be a morning check-in and a morning meeting every single day with every student. And that's for as long as we're virtual. And then there'll be times during the day, and the teacher will send you a schedule. They should email you, or they will call you, and we'll send out a schedule so that you know when else you have to go on.
Okay, which actually answered another question about if is going to be a schedule for the synchronous days.
Okay.
Someone had said, is it possible if
Yeah.
to log in earlier than 9:30 if 9:30 is not possible? Or, I mean, I guess if there's issues with logging on
You can log.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
You can log in and log on. You just won't hear or see anything until that time.
Okay.
I would definitely try it before 9:30.
Yeah.
But to make sure you can get on, but you won't be engaging in any conversation because you won't be turned on by the teacher.
Okay. One of the parents had asked, are they able as parents to communicate with the therapist or therapies that are assigned to their child within the school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is the...
Just so you know, all the therapists are contracted from outside agencies, and they get a hold of you, and there has to be open communication between you and them. They're not district employees.
Okay. Are we using Google Meet or another form through Seesaw for the live?
Well, you're going to get a thing for Google Meet.
Okay.
And that actually is explained in the letter that you're going to get tomorrow.
Okay. And on the days that the children are home listening to the discussions, are they just listening, or are they able to actually participate? Like, are they able to communicate with the teachers too?
They're going to be able to participate, but they're able to participate, but they cannot see anyone in the classroom. Okay. And if they have a question, there'll be a monitor in the room that's monitoring the computer while the teacher's with the kids that are in the room. So okay. There'll be another adult in every classroom who's monitoring what is happening with the computer kids and the teacher in the classroom with the kids.
Okay. And do you know, are the children going to be getting grades this year, or is it going to be a pass-fail? That was another question.
Well, in the K-2, we don't give grades until the end of January. So if we're still doing this at the end of January, I don't know. I can't say. But they don't get grades until the end of January, so okay. We haven't even had a discussion about that at any level, but they will get grades because if they have to get on and their attendance counts, then their work should count. And okay. When we were on, everyone was virtual before, there were plenty of students who engaged every day, and some students who did some work and some students who did no work, so there probably will be.
Okay. And one of the parents had said the Google Meet and Google Classroom apps on the iPads that were borrowed, are they apps on there that were borrowed in the spring because they still have their iPad from the spring? So that iPad should...
Everything got pushed to the iPads just in the last 2 days. So okay. If it was an iPad that you had in the spring, it should have been pushed before. If it wasn't, it was pushed a few days ago.
Okay. So try to log on and make sure that everything downloads. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if there's any other questions, but I think what Roxana and I had just discussed too, maybe we'll take all these questions and put them into a Q&A that then we can give to you both in English and Spanish for everyone.
That would be great. That would be great. And I think that, I know we spent a lot of time on answering questions, and that was really what tonight was about, getting questions answered. And the reason why I didn't do a separate kindergarten orientation and a separate parent meeting, because I would have said the same thing twice, and then you would have been there twice. So I tried to streamline it to make it easier for everyone, because everyone has a lot on their plate right now. And I just want you to remember that this year is all about the 3 Ps. So the first P is persevering. We all have to persevere, and we all have to be persistent. And we're all privileged to be able to have the opportunity to give your kids an education. And that's the best we can do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
2 more questions. I guess someone had said, were there restrictions on the foods that they can send their kids in with or lunches? I know it's eating.
Eating might be the only thing they can enjoy, but you know what? If you don't send a whole bag of Oreos, I'll be happy. But you can certainly send cookies, but some kids were coming to school with like a whole sleeve of Girl Scout cookies for snack, so that's a no. But you have to be wise, and they can bring anything they want, because if you have to sit in a mask all day and you have to sit behind a barrier and you can only see your friends, why not give them something enjoyable like food? I certainly enjoy that. That's what I've been doing.
Extra snacks.
So, yeah, extra snacks. They'll have a snack time, and they do have to bring their own snacks. With the older kids, they have a working snack at their desk, but I would send something for the morning and the afternoon.
Okay. Someone had asked that their
Nothing in glass.
nothing in glass. Okay. Someone said their mail has been extremely slow. I can relate. That they won't be getting the login by Monday probably. So I guess can this be given to them tomorrow when they pick up the remote learning packet, or?
They can email the teacher,
Okay.
and the teacher can give it to them.
Other people are saying the mail stinks.
I know,
you know what? Mine, by the way, for the teacher
I feel really bad because when you do bulk mailings, especially on a holiday weekend, something always happens. And some people got it right away and some people still haven't gotten it. And we tried to get it out. We tried to do it, and we did what we could do. And the rest is the United States Postal Service. So they've been good to us, and we've done a lot of mailings. And I think in what I said earlier about those emergency contact numbers, if we have your email, that's loaded on to when I make those robocalls, we can send you things through an email very easily and not kill all these trees and waste all this paper and worry about the mail. And I really think that that's the direction we want to move in and start to do, because it's just much more efficient. So,
okay.
But I just really, really, really want to thank all of you again. And we're all in this together, and we'll get through it. And I don't know what Monday will bring. Hopefully I'll be smiling and your kids will be smiling, because they're going to love their teachers, and the teachers have worked really hard to make the rooms beautiful. And I love seeing your kids every time I see you on the screen, whether it was with a virtual field trip, whether it was the secret reader, or tonight with the kids sticking their heads in the screen. So your kids have gotten so big. It's 6 months down the road. Oh my God. I see so many kids with no teeth now. So, I mean, it's great. I love seeing your kids. And if you can just wave to them for me and tell them that I said hi. But thank you.
Thank you.
And just tomorrow, if you need an iPad or if you need to get a remote packet, 8:30 to 2 o'clock.
Okay. And I guess to reiterate, if anyone has questions that weren't answered, they can reach out to you. They can reach out to the school. They could reach out even on our Gribbin PTA has Facebook and stuff you guys can reach out on. And I would encourage everyone on this to connect on the Remind app is at Gribbin PTA. Instagram is at Gribbin PTA, and the Gribbin Elementary School is on Facebook. And a lot of times we do updates on there to keep parents updated also with what's going on with the schools and everything else too.
I hope this was enjoyable. I hope we answered things. There's a lot of things unanswered, and we're just going to go through this all together. And by the way, everyone who came to the kindergarten meet and greets the last 2 days, your kids are really cute. I can't wait to see them all again. So have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Ms. Santoro.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
This was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.